Joe is on the line right now. Joe Lode. Good morning. Last hour, we should set this up. We had earlier in the week the Adirondack Scenic Railway on the air talking about they're going to be having a rally that is coming up. Now, we received a call from Jim McCulley, who is of the group which is known as Adirondack Rail Trail Advocates, and they want the tracks pulled up, and they want to do trails, walking trails, running trails, and what have you. Joe Lode on the line right now. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Bill. This is my gripe about everything that goes on with these walking and running trails and biking trails. Number one, do they pay insurance? Do they pay registration fees on their bicycles and their shoes and everything else for walking and running on these trails? The answer is no. Do I, as a ATV activist, pay insurances, pay registration fees that are astronomical to this state, snowmobile fees, snowmobile registrations, and I have to join a club and everything else to maintain trails that we can't even use?
Right.
The money is, where's my money going? I want to know where my money's going for ATV trails. You know, a Tug Hill, you can ride your ATVs all over the snowmobile trails in Tug Hill. Old Forge, can't do it. Why? Because people are afraid that the noise from the ATVs are going to ruin the environment. How about the fact that you have no winter and your businesses in town are suffering? You could bring hundreds of thousands of dollars to the area with people with ATVs. Look at places like West Virginia and Kentucky, and they have huge groups of riders and trails designed for enjoying the ATV sport and bringing people into their community.
Yeah.
I mean, when I go out snowmobile, Bill, I spend hundreds of dollars at these little taverns, you know, for food and for sodas and whatever while I'm riding. Look at the money
Cases
that would come
Utica
in
Club.
during the summer.
Yeah, you're right. And it's almost as if it's saying, you know, why would you want to build a ski resort when it might not even snow?
Right.
You have to be positive. And to think that I do believe that people would take the trip from here to there and spend a week and then come back, or spend
Absolutely, I would do that. I would do that over letting that go to hiking and biking.
Yeah.
Because there's enough hiking and biking in the Adirondacks.
But I don't know why
hiking and biking is bad.
I don't know why you couldn't. I don't know why you couldn't do the hiking and biking alongside the track.
That is right.
I'm sorry.
But what he was saying, and I don't know if this is his point, was it was built on a swamp, so you can't really. Well, maybe you can.
No.
His point was it was built on a swamp, so you can't build off of it because you're building on a swamp.
How does he know that?
Well, I don't know. That's what he
the
said.
great Adirondack.
He studied the topographical maps.
Joe,
Mountain swamp.
Well, what's the
my
swamp
God.
considered? Is it just some wetland where it's just moist, or is there actually sitting water on
I
it?
do have to say, and Nagel will attest to this, Lake Placid is an awesome town.
Yes, it is.
And if
they don't want anyone to go there.
That's right. That's right. We're going to keep it that way. The minute these outsiders come in, it's just all hell breaks loose. But I got to tell you that if you're comparing, and he made the comparison that they were going up to Big Moose.
Not even close.
There is no comparison in taking a trip from here to Big Moose versus here to Lake Placid, where
I'm
there
not
are.
sure that the Chamber of Commerce of Big Moose would agree with you, Bill.
Yeah, you're
but
probably right. I'm not saying Big Moose is bad.
I'm not
I'm
saying
just saying it doesn't compare to Lake Placid. And oh, by the way, everybody who lives in Lake Placid is fit. They run. You know what they do? The lake there in Lake Placid. What's it called? It's not Lake Placid.
Mirror Lake.
Mirror Lake. What's the morning thing for them to do? Other people get out, get a cup of coffee, go over to play. They jump in the lake, swim across, and then swim back. These people are unbelievably fit. Many of them Olympic athletes that live up there.
Wow.
So, but for us to be able to go up there on a train, you know, eating and boozing it up.
The fatties coming up.
They don't want the sloppy people up there,
right.
Bill.
They don't want us there.
This is like
you might
Mount
be right.
Olympus
We would
over there.
taint their atmosphere.
Joe, I want to throw one more thing at you. I don't know if you're going to be in the valley at all today.
I'm not going to be in the. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Okay, listen.
Why, what's going on?
Along the route, as you're going from Herkimer to Little Falls along Route 5, I would say right up after you get to the what's the glass place up there? Brown and Randall, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right after that, on the right side, if you're going eastbound,
Okay.
I don't know. It's either a giant raccoon that has been hit and it's lying on the side of the road, or a bear cub. It looks like a bear cub to me.
Really?
I don't know what it is. Now, I don't
I'm
want
sure
to
if it's a bear cub, it's got to be gone by now, or somebody have had to have reported it. And
it's probably like a raccoon or something, but it's
probably just a bloated raccoon with the heat yesterday. It probably flew right up.
Well, it's been there for about a week.
Oh, God. Well, that's definitely not a bear. It's just a blown-up raccoon.
Okay. Blown-up
we
raccoon.
get rid of them because you know what happens is there's the heat causes their stomach gases and it swells.
Okay, enough, Joe. Enough. Yeah. We've heard enough. All right, Joe, thanks. Okay. Bethan Maher is on right now from the Adirondack Scenic Railway. And do I say that right?
Maher.
I'm sorry, Bethan. I mess it up every time. Andrew's nice enough to give me a pronouncer on your first name, which isn't Beth Ann, it's Bethan. But he won't give me the last name. I don't know why that is. You're too busy eating and baking goods down in the hallway. That's what you're doing, for God's sakes. All right, back to you, Bethan.
There's a lot of tension here.
Back to you. Okay, basically, Jim McCauley from the Adirondack Rail Trail Advocates basically is I hate to say this, but call you guys liars that you're fudging the numbers and that and there's no proof out there of what you guys are doing. How do you respond to that?
Well, a number of ways. We have an actual ticketing system. So, we actually report all our ridership numbers to the federal government, the Federal Railroad Authority. So, all our numbers are easily tracked, easily proven. Our ridership has been increasing. We had just shy of 75,000 riders last year, which I think adds a significant economic impact to the region. And he was referencing the Oneida County study where it said that we would bring 7,000 new riders to Lake Placid. When we built the section to Big Moose, we actually saw 6,000 new riders to Big Moose alone. So I'm sure that the numbers to Lake Placid would be significantly higher.
Bethan, can I ask you, just to be clear, when you reference that 75,000 number, say you went to Big Moose and back. If I went to Big Moose and back, am I one rider on the way up and one rider on the way down? Or am I just one for... So I actually count twice.
Be, but that to me is common sense.
Well, it says 70,000. You cut that in half now, so it's actually 37,000.
Right, but the same statistic measuring thing is used for the highway system and buses and everything else. That's a standard thing.
For example, if we have Polar Express passengers, they don't get off the train. That's our largest event. So that's 18,000 people that are counted once.
Okay.
Our canoe and rail passengers, our bike and rail passengers, they're all counted once.
Yeah.
In some cases, all our fall foliage trains are counted once. If you do get off the train, you're counted twice because we sell, for example, one-way tickets to groups. We have a ton of groups that come from Toronto, stay at the casino, travel one way from Utica to Sandera in Old Forge. They're counted once.
The way I would,
methodology Amtrak uses.
Right. The way I would describe it is, if you're on a round trip ticket, then you're counted once. If you're on a one-way ticket, you're counted the once for that one way. And if you come back, it's just like the airlines. It's just like everybody does the same thing.
Look, the reality is, if you actually get the railway up to Lake Placid, there's going to be an unmeasurable increase.
Correct. There's no doubt about it.
Because you're going to end up having another draw to the.
And now Utica gets to be a draw for Lake Placid. Now that is a huge
western gateway to the Adirondack.
I like it. I do like it,
Yeah.
Bethan.
I wish
and
that
another thing that's interesting is, there's no snowmobiling in Lake Placid. The town doesn't allow any snowmobiling, so they're building a trail for multi-use, this proposed trail for multi-use, and you won't actually be able to have snowmobilers and cross-country skiers on it in the same place in certain areas. But the other thing we've done, and actually a group of railroad people have done this, and if you go to trailswithrails.org, there's a whole map, and we've actually mapped out a system of existing trails that in some cases run parallel to the railroad, in some cases weave in and out. So you can have a rail and trail system. There are wetlands, and in some cases you've got to go around.
Yeah.
And then for other sections, you can travel right alongside the railroad for a long stretch of space. But we've actually done all that work and mapped it out, and New York State hasn't looked at it.
Listen,
in any meaningful way.
I have to tell you, I'm with you guys. I still am, and he didn't convince me. I thought some of his arguments were basically
specious.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying. It's almost like a typical political argument today. When somebody delivers facts, You just come out and say, well, that's not true. So it's easy to say that's not true. I don't believe it. But it's hard to prove good versus bad, a positive versus negative. And these guys are using the negative to beat you.
Sure, and they are. And, you know, all I can say is that we have the numbers. We've been doing this for over 20 years.
All right.
So, you think that the projections we make are going to carry a little bit of weight because they're based on 20 years of experience in partnership with the DOT.
All right. Well, we do expect to be hearing something soon, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Crossing our fingers. Listen,
right.
This is good for this area. No doubt about it for us. Okay, Bethan, thanks. We appreciate it.
Did I get the impression that when we talked to, it was a Jim, that he was kind of upset with the state to some level. And I feel like the Adirondack Railroad is also frustrated that, she
Something
said
hasn't been done.
That they have all these numbers and they mapped out a way to make this work, and the state hasn't looked at it. I'm wondering where the state is going to fall on this.
It does seem to fit. Taking this stretch from Utica to Lake Placid seems to fit in the governor's plan when it comes to tourism. Well, and with this governor, we know that carries a lot of weight.
Upstate needs to take advantage of the tourism
no doubt about it. Yeah,
but I have to say, I think he used the typical gripe now, which is, the taxpayers are paying for something.
That's right.
And the reality is,
didn't it sound like a political?
Well,
argument?
That's that argument. Like, all the Dumbos are going to jump on it because the fact of the matter is that the taxpayers are paying for it. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes there are improvements that you need to pay for in order to, generate a benefit to the entire
no doubt
area.
About it. Yeah. We'll break. Come back. We have a beer of the week. It might have something to do with Lake Placid. I don't know. But I got to tell you, Nagel, the brewery brought us the, what is it? Mule Kicker. I did a story on it yesterday. And I cut up a little lime yesterday and put some ice and put it over ice. And it is
dangerously delicious.
Dangerously at 5.9% alcohol. Yeah. Dangerously delicious.
I can see my summer already.
Oh, I love it. It's really, really good. If you ever had a Moscow Mule, it's pretty close because a Moscow Mule is vodka, ginger beer, a little lime, and maybe some simple syrup. It's good.
Is it served in a brass?
It's a copper. A copper mug.
Right.
And that's how I had mine yesterday, in a copper mug.
Oh, that's good, Bill.
Why are you rolling your eyes?
I didn't roll my eyes.
Yeah, you did.
I was looking at Andrew.
Joe, you did the typical roll away.
No.
Did you see that?
I have one in my office left. It's warm, but would you like to try it?
You should try it. Put it on ice for him to try it.
Yeah, put it on ice.
And we'll try the
me.
beer here in a second.
You know what? I'll try it the next time I come in.
No, you can try it now.
No, it's all right.
You'll try it now. We're coming back. Hold on. Coming back at WIBX.